Amid intense war pressure from Russia, Ukraine's military intelligence chief has dropped a major bombshell about Kyiv's own failures in sustaining the war effort. Ukraine's HUR military intelligence chief has blamed internal failures for the collapse of the country's mobilization and recruitment system. "We destroyed our own mobilization," Kirill Budanov told the outlet Levi Bereg on December 19, in an unusually blunt assessment. He said a failed media strategy turned conscription into a national flashpoint, fueling anger instead of explaining the need for fresh troops. Budanov added that some key decisions were made deliberately for personal or political gain, rather than in the interest of the state. Others, the intelligence chief claimed, were made thoughtlessly, without understanding how the public would react or what the long-term consequences would be. He said corruption and infighting undermined the national mobilization apparatus from within, further weakening its credibility. These internal failures, Budanov warned, have compounded Ukraine's existing manpower crisis on the battlefield and deepened frontline strain. Budanov said, and I quote, "Main blunder was the completely failed media campaign, which, let's say, allowed the mobilization issue to become a tense one. We all blame Russia, but its influence on this matter isn't as great as everyone thinks. We destroyed our own mobilization. Those who say otherwise are wrong. We destroyed it ourselves." Unquote. This comes as Russia's defense minister Andrei Belousov has claimed that Ukraine lost nearly 500,000 troops this year alone, figures Kyiv disputes. Moscow argues these heavy losses prevent Kyiv from adequately replenishing its forces through mobilization, leaving units chronically under strength. Ukraine has not confirmed the Russian numbers but does acknowledge that the country faces severe and worsening manpower strain. In early December, Parliament's Defense Secretary Roman Kostenko revealed a stark recruitment shortfall in public comments. Kyiv was enlisting only about 30,000 recruits per month, meeting just half of what the military says it actually needs to sustain operations. Army Chief Alexander Syrsky has also publicly called for urgent reinforcements, warning that the situation is becoming untenable. Officials now warn that the personnel gap is a critical threat to frontline operations and Ukraine's ability to hold the line. In October, Kyiv demanded that citizens stop sharing so-called busification videos online that showed aggressive draft tactics. The clips showed draft officers forcibly grabbing men off the streets and stuffing them into vans, sometimes in broad daylight. These widely circulated videos intensified public anger against mobilization and helped spark protests in several cities. The viral campaign destroyed public trust in recruitment offices and sharply reduced volunteer enlistment rates across the nation. Remember, Ukraine has barred nearly all adult males of fighting age from leaving the country since late 2022 to preserve manpower. The draft age was lowered from 27 to 25, tightening the conscription net further and widening the pool of eligible men. However, nearly 100,000 young men are reported to have fled the country since August, when some border rules were slightly eased. Desertion and absenteeism rates within the Ukrainian armed forces are now said to be steadily rising, adding another layer to the crisis.